So there are five players on the offensive side of the football that I am going to list as five need to watch and not paid attention to players. Now, probably next year, some of these players will be on Power Four teams because I'm going to go with group of five players. And these players are showing that they have the ability to do things that would go amazing with so many different Power Four offenses, whether it's a Texas Tech, a Tennessee, an Ohio State, whatever. These are players that people are not paying attention to all that often, and they really should be because, good Lord, the numbers that you're going to hear. And some of them have only started making their difference this year, but it's showing that they're a little bit more than what most people were thinking they were. Now, hit like, hit subscribe if you like college football. I cover G5 football, and I cover college sports. I've stopped covering pro sports. I'll still cover Olympics. But hit like and subscribe because I'm going to cover everything but the transfer portals and recruiting. I don't get into all that. That gets ridiculous real quick. So let's get into this. Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Neyland. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there. Okay, the first player that I am going to cover, if you follow my channel, I've covered him before. His name is Chaz Nimrod. He's a former University of Tennessee player who's playing for the South Florida Bulls. Now, so far this year, this is before the North Texas game, he had 19 catches, 421 yards. He was averaging 22.2 yards a carry, a 55-yard long run, and had 3 touchdowns. Now, you're saying, okay, what did he do against North Florida? Or North Texas, sorry. North Texas game, he had 4 catches, 45 yards, 11.3 yards per carry, and he didn't have a touchdown this game. But when you look at his stats, he was at University of Tennessee. Now, you have to realize is that last year, Nico Iamaleava was the one reason why he isn't there. Listen to this. Okay. Why he left Tennessee. He was seeking better opportunities and playing time. Nimrod started 6 games over 3 seasons at Tennessee, but never secured a major role in the receiving corps, often serving as a depth option. The transfer portal allowed him to seek out a program where he could play a more significant role. That more significant role was at a team that had his original recruiter slash offensive coordinator and his wide receivers coach. You heard that right. He reunited with former Tennessee offensive coordinator Alex Golesh, who's the head coach at South Florida, who is now the head coach at South Florida, and Cody Burns, who recruited him to Tennessee, is now a co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach at USF. So that helped. Um, you also have to realize Nico Iamaleava, no matter what people are saying after that Penn State game, was not a good quarterback for the University of Tennessee. He lost us a game. When Dylan Sampson couldn't break through at Arkansas, Nico Iamaleava couldn't do anything. Seriously, he lost us the game there. And Chaz Nimrod went to South Florida, and this year he's got 421 yards plus the 45 from this game. He had 194 in 2023, his redshirt year, 121 last year. He had 1 TD. So this is the difference that getting a different coach, people are going to notice this. People are going to want to grab him from South Florida and put him on their team because here's a guy who is, okay, he's only got 3 touchdowns at South Florida this year, but he's a key piece to their offense. 19 catches, 421 yards. When you've got other studs out there, he's somebody that is making a difference. So, this is the first person. The second person that a lot of people really haven't heard about is Drew Mestemaker. This is a guy who wasn't even the starting quarterback at his Texas high school. This is a guy that the coaches had to get somebody to take him in. Mestemaker has gone currently. North Texas is 5-1. They just lost to South Florida 63-36. It was one heck of a game. If you missed it, I'm sorry for you. Really, I am. If you can find a way to watch this game, wow. Now, Mestemaker threw for 326 yards this game. First time this season that he had interceptions. He had 3 interceptions this game because South Florida's just on a different level. Uh, 30 of 48 this game, 2 touchdowns. Now, overall, before this game, he had 106 completions on 156 attempts, so 67.9% completion rate. Had 1,247 through the air, had 11 touchdowns through the air, along a 68, had only been sacked 5 times, had no interceptions so far this year until this game. Rushing, he's rushed 22 times for 65 yards for 2 touchdowns, long at 31. So here's a guy that can get out there on his feet, but man, can he throw the long ball. And like I said, you add in, this was the first game that he had. So he's actually had 13 touchdowns this entire season, and he added 326 yards to that 1,247. Most teams scoring 36 would have a good chance of winning, but they went up against South Florida, who isn't playing around, wants that spot in the college football playoff, and is playing at a different level. Mestemaker is one of those players who, with the right offensive line, okay, he's only been sacked 5 times before this game. And during this game, hold on a second here, uh, you had, uh, they had 2 sacks on him this game. So 7 sacks overall in 5 games. So he's got a decent offensive line. The first game that he's had interceptions. He's got over 1,500 yards passing. He's got 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. This is a kind of playmaker that, if he's put on the right team, could put them in the college football playoff. North Texas is having one of those years, and if he stays loyal next year, you can imagine that North Texas will be competing for a college football playoff spot. That is how good Mestemaker is. Now, third player that I'm going to cover here, Utah State Aggies player wide receiver Brandon Pagan. Now, this guy's already transferred once. He left what was a hilariously bad UCLA team. Thankfully, he didn't stay there because now he's at the Utah State Aggies. Now, after transferring from UCLA in December 2024, Pagan's career saw a major resurgence with the Aggies. He quickly became a dynamic offensive weapon, achieving notable performances in the early 2025 season. September 2025 game against Air Force, he recorded 7 catches for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns, including an impressive 1 yard catch or one-handed catch. Dude's originally from San Juan Hills High School in Capistrano, California. He was considered a 3-star. Now, this year, he's got 24 catches, 369 yards, 54-yard long run, 4 touchdowns. Yep, you heard that right. Now, he doesn't have any rushing touchdowns, but this is a guy that last year had 1 catch for 7 yards, no touchdowns. But he has just stood up this year on a good Utah State team. This is a team that's currently 3-2. Bronco Mendenhall has done some good things, and you're saying, well, they're only 3-2. Well, who they lost to was Texas A&M and M and Vandy. Think about that for a minute. Vandy and Texas A&M. Vandy was undefeated until they played Alabama. Texas A&M is undefeated, went into Notre Dame Stadium and beat them in front of the touchdown Jesus. They beat UTEP. They beat Air Force in a shootout. That's 49-30. They beat McNeese. Okay, it's McNeese. They've got Hawaii today. So this is a player that if you're not paying attention to him, hey, turn on that Hawaii game. This is somebody that, like I said, 24 catches, 369 yards, 15.4 yards average, and 4 touchdowns with a 54-yard long run. Think about that when you're thinking, hey, I wonder what he could do on a. I mean, you're talking about that this is a team that their offensive line is so bad that their quarterback, after 5 games, has been sacked 18 times. There's another sack that happened to their QB too. But Bryson Barnes, in his last year now, this is a guy that's thrown 11 touchdowns, with 4 of them coming up touchdowns from Brandon Pagan, and 24 of his throws went to Pagan. This is his favorite target. So if you're not paying attention, this is the guy to pay attention to. Now, let's go with the fourth player. Yes, another quarterback. His name is Jackson. Pardon me. Brad Jackson with the Texas State Bobcats. Now, this dude, okay, probably a little bit less than a few of the others, but this is his sophomore year. He's 86 and 128, so 67.2 completion rate, 1,094 yards through the air, thrown 7 touchdowns, been sacked 7 times after 5 games. Okay, not a bad offensive line. Thrown 1 interception, but on top of that, he's rushed 53 times for 259 yards, 63-yard long run, 6 touchdowns on the ground. So he's thrown 7 and rushed for 6. This tells you that this guy knows how to run an offense and he knows how to do what he needs to do when he needs to do it. Now, he's attended Northeast High School in Austin, Texas, named the starter for the 2025 season. Dude last year was 8 for 15. He was QB2, 53.3 completion rate through 1 touchdown, along a 60. And last year, he rushed 22 times for 164 yards and had 4 touchdowns. So you're talking about somebody who, yeah, he is, he's somebody who will get you what you need. He's willing to do everything. Now, he only played in 3 games last year. Think about that when I say that. Had 118 passing yards, had 164 rushing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 4 rushing TDs, and he only played in 3 games. And he became the leading person this year. So if you're not following Texas State this year is 3-2. They lost to Arizona State. They lost to Arkansas State. That Arkansas State game, everybody that follows G5 football is in shock that they lost that game. They went to Arkansas State and lost 31-30. They beat Nicholls 35-3. So this is a defensive issue. Arizona State, they lost 34-15. Every team that they played except for Eastern Michigan and Nicholls have had 30 points scored on them. In Eastern Michigan, it was 52-27, and that's not even a good team. And Nichols was 35-3. UTSA was a shootout 43-36. So this is somebody that can play with a bad defense going and still win games. And to be honest with you, this game that they're playing at Troy should be a winning game for them. So that's Brad Jackson, Texas State Bobcats. Okay, the last person that I'm going to talk about is Danny Scudero of the very disappointing San Jose State Spartans. I was picking them to be a dark horse in the Mountain West. They're still technically undefeated in the Mountain West because they beat New Mexico 35-28, but they lost by 1 point to Stanford when they went to Stanford. They beat Idaho 31-28, lost to Texas 38-7, and just another disappointing loss. They lost to Central Michigan 16-14. So this team has been very disappointing. Now, Danny Scudero has got 40 catches, 665 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's got a long of 70. Now, he is a transfer. He transferred from, okay, Scudero transferred to San Jose State after playing for Sacramento State for 2 seasons. San Jose native who attended Archbishop Mitty High School. He was a 3-star recruit out of high school, and in his senior season at Mitty, he caught 60 passes for 982 yards and 13 touchdowns. He also contributed on special teams and defense. Scudero redshirted in 2023 at Sac State, played 11 games in 2024, recorded 53 catches, 667 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Entered the transfer portal and chose San Jose State to be closer to his family and play for his hometown team. But here's a guy that should still have some playing time left, and he even rushed at Sac State and got a touchdown both years from rushing. Returned uh, some kicks. He's an all around player. He's somebody that you can use in different positions. Like I said, this year, 40 catches, 665 yards, 16.6 yards average, 4 touchdowns, and they've only played 5 games. I would say that this is somebody that if you give him a chance, he would more than likely make up for it. He would be somebody that you could go, hey, let's put him into a utility position. But if he's doing this, he went from Sac State where he was at, he was doing these kinds of numbers. Now he's at San Jose State, which is not a good team, unfortunately, this year, making the numbers that he's making. So if he's doing that at San Jose State, can you imagine what he could do with Julian Sang, Dante Moore, Joey Aguilar, one of these players throwing to him? This is somebody that hardly anybody's paying attention to, and they should be because he really is that good of a player. Now, while researching this video, I came across a player that is playing for a garbage team that I thought was pretty cool. Then I got to researching the player and I was like, yeah, no. Because he's got something in his background that I don't want to see him leave the garbage team that he is at. But I hope that these 5 players are people that you will pay more attention to. Between Danny Scudero, Brad or Jackson, Pagan, Mestamaker, Nimrod, these are players that you should be paying attention to. And I could almost see them playing for a Power 4 team next year. Now, yes, I'm well aware that 2 of them have played for Power 4 teams, but one of them was playing under a garbage quarterback, and another one was just playing on a garbage team. And they deserve a chance to make the big money, and they deserve a chance to move up to be able to be noticed by NFL teams because all 5 of these players are pretty freaking amazing if you pay attention to them. But hey, this has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.